Okay.
So at the moment, this line says that one customer of this service requires 1 unit of capacity of the optical interface, and the unit of capacity is ports. So one customer requires 1 port. I run the model, and I'm going to draw another graph. This time I want to graph the optical interface. And the graph I want for the optical interface, the easiest one is installed units. And reassuringly, the numbers are the same. So I get 1 optical interface for each of the customers.
Right.
To be honest with you, at this point, there isn't really much else to draw. The only other thing that I could draw, which I will draw, is from this graph, I can draw similar. And for the optical interface, I'd like to say, actually, I'd like to look at the capital cost, which is there, capital expenditure. And I could say, let me draw the operating costs. And let me just quickly tile these graphs. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, let me tile those. So basically, I have my number of customers. Each of them has an optical interface. If you remember, the optical interface costs $500 US.
Right.
So the total capex is going to be about $500 US times 1,000. So it's going to be about $500,000 US. But obviously that's spread over time. But I think it looks plausible that these numbers here would add up to about 500,000 over time. And then over here, the operating costs. So you remember that it was 5%. So 5% of 500 was $25 per annum per customer. So as we approach 1,000 customers, we should be approaching $25,000 US for the opex, which indeed we are.
Great.
Nothing complicated, but actually there's already one detail which we're skipping over, which is I have my installed units, which is this nice S curve, but my capex is this shape, and that shape is obviously, it's the delta. It's how many new interfaces were required each year. Because the first year, it's just this many. The next year, it's how many more have we got. And basically, there's a graph here, which is a more pertinent graph, which is rather than just the installed units, a graph I often like to do is the installed and incremental units. And basically, the red line is the total, the blue line is the incremental.
Which is very similar to this, the capital expenditure.
Basically, it's basically the same, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so far so good. I kind of like to take these things one step at a time, just because every single resource has this kind of relationship going on, and it's good just to see the nuts and bolts as we go through.